President Yoweri Museveni of Uganda has condemned the military coup in Zimbabwe which is seeking to remove its longtime leader Robert Mugabe from power. In a statement by Uganda's State Minister for International Relations, Okello Oryem, Museveni termed the coup as unfortunate and unacceptable in Africa. He also added that no African country will recognize the coup. He says under the current African Union rules, no African state can recognize a military coup on the continent by any military officer or group. Mr. Oryem added that Mugabe's government is the legitimate leadership, adding that people in both countries enjoy cordial relationships and that Uganda is mandated to side with Mugabe's establishment. President Museveni went ahead to ask for updates from the Ugandan embassy in South Africa regarding the situation in Harare to decide the way forward. Read also Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe placed under house arrest. The events in Zimbabwe look to be sending shivers down the Ugandan president's spine because like Mugabe, he too was a guerrilla fighter who fought for the liberation of the people and was widely applauded by the West. Like Mugabe also, he grew to believe that he was the only person suitable and qualified to lead Uganda, hence him clinging onto power by amending the constitution to allow for him to continue ruling democratically as well as destroying any sorts of opposition that would challenge him. But unlike Mugabe, Museveni does not have a power-hungry wife who dismantled the foundation on which his power rests on. Indeed, Mugabe looks to have been overthrown by the military, but he had already been overthrown by Mrs. Mugabe as he had been reduced to acting merely in her interests rather than that of the political and military structure that his power rested on. Mrs. Grace Mugabe, dubbed Disgrace or Gucci Grace, orchestrated the sacking of Vice-President Emmerson Mnangagwa, giving her a chance to propel herself to the presidency. She cultivated the support of the ZANU-PF youth and began using them as an instrument against the ZANU-PF old guard, which apparently angered by the military, prompting them to move in to contain what they said is a purge on Mnangagwa's supporters in the party. Also, Yoweri Museveni is much younger than his now seemingly deposed Zimbabwean counterpart. The 92-year-old had grown too old to conduct all the intrigues of power, unlike Museveni who showed his alertness of mind and vigor by removing constitutional age limits to becoming president, solidifying his position even more. Read also Ugandans take to the streets to oppose bill extending Museveni's rule. However, Ugandans all over the world look to be celebrating the military coup in Zimbabwe as it gives hope that their nightmare is about to end. That a long-serving president who had ruled his country like a colossus can fall. That like the Arab Spring in 2010, its military will catch the bug and replicate those events in its country and other countries being ruled by a democratic dictator on the continent.